morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I've already filmed this video, but I didn't like it. So here we are again, round two. I didn't really know what to film. I'm in the middle of quite a long book. It's White Teeth by Zadie Smith. So that's like, I think it's like 500 pages, 600 pages. I didn't really have anything to tell you, to be honest. So I was really racking my brain about what I could film. And a few videos a few months ago, I did big books that I think are worth reading. And the sister video to that is short books that I think are worth reading. I believe that short books get kind of written off, like fly under the radar. I don't know. I think especially outside of like literary fiction, rom-coms and horrors and sci-fi, those kind of books tend to be a bit longer, like especially the series. Those books can be like 600 pages plus. Even the standalones, a standard length of a book is like 300 to 400 pages. And I feel like a lot of people don't read short books or kind of write them off. But I think short stories, short books are fantastic for a multitude of reasons. If you've just read a long book, you might need something a little bit shorter just to give your brain a break. If you have no attention span, unfortunately due to TikTok and Instagram Reels and the magnetic pull of entertaining screens and devices that literally break our brains and ruin our attention span, short books are amazing. A great way to get back into reading if you're not a reader. Big books can be intimidating if you don't already read. And why else would you read a short book? Sometimes you just fancy it, you know? If you've read a bit of a hard book or you're in a bit of a reading slump, a short book, a snappy, good story can be just what you need. So these are books, I've read all of them that I'm going to recommend. I'm halfway through reading one of them. So these are actual recommendations. I haven't loved all of them, but that doesn't mean you won't. They're not badly written. Sometimes things just aren't for your personal taste. And that's the case with a couple of these. But yes, this is going to be short stories, short books. There's no short story collections. Actually, please tell me some short story collections that you think are good, because that's one area that I don't read, is like a collection of short stories. The short books that I read are like standalone, like a full story, rather than like little ones all together in a book, which I would definitely be open to reading. So please recommend me some of those. Okay, so the first author that is the absolute queen of writing short books that feel like they're long is Claire Keegan. Claire Keegan is an Irish author. I have 3 of her books here. I've read 2 of them. She is a fantastic storyteller. I think all of her books are relatively short. I don't think she has any work that's like very long. Could be wrong there, but I think all of her work is pretty short. She is a beautiful writer. One of the books that I have here is Fosse. This follows a little girl who is taken by her father to live with her relatives. I think it's her auntie and uncle. I read this a couple of years ago. And she lives on their farm in rural Ireland over the summer. And she experiences a different kind of life than she's had previously. And it's just kind of like her inner world, her thoughts over the summer. And it's beautiful. It is genuinely a gorgeous book. A great one to read right now while we're in the summer. The other one I have by her that I have read is Small Things Like These. I read this 2 years ago, and I recently watched the film like two weeks ago that has Cillian Murphy in it. Loved the film. The way that was shot, it was just really well made. Just a great film. It felt like it felt like it was from the 80s, 90s. Obviously, I think it was set back then, but sometimes I think films that are filmed now and set back then, you can tell that they're modern. That one felt like it had been made back then. Anyway, this is set in rural Ireland in winter around Christmas time. It follows Bill Furlong, who is the local coal guy. He owns a coal and fuel company, and he delivers coal to the local nunnery church. And this is covering the awful things that happened with the Irish Magdalene laundries. Really, really great book. Wonderful storytelling, and I highly recommend this one. The other one that I have by Keegan that I haven't read is So Late in the Day. This is around 50 pages, so super short. I'm not sure why I haven't read it yet, to be honest. I believe that this is a guy's like inner thoughts as he kind of like regrets. Yeah, his like inner world as he thinks about the choices that he didn't make and could have made, and how his life could have been different just from reading the little synopsis. So I would Love to read this at some point. And I don't know I can literally read that in like an hour. But yeah, that's the other one that I have. Love Keegan's work. If you're looking for good short stories, read Keegan's work. I have a few pocket-sized ones here. The first one is Dostoyevsky's White Nights. I actually hated the main character in this book. The writing's good. I enjoyed the actual book, but I hated the main character. But I do think sometimes that's a marker of incredible storytelling, incredible writing, because if you feel passionately enough to hate a character, you can't hate a flat character. Oh my god, the doggies are barking. It's my delivery lady from Every, but they're gonna bark for like 5 minutes now, so we'll have to wait. Can't recall what I was saying now. I know I was speaking about White Nights. Something about storytelling and bad characters. I mean, good characters that you hate. I can't remember. Anyway, this is about a guy, I think it might be it's set at night time. I can't remember if it's over one night or a few nights. I read this like a couple of years ago. He is basically wandering around St. Petersburg, feeling sorry for himself and like spiraling into loneliness and depression, and kind of, it's like the world hates me kind of mindset. I hated him. Quite simply, but it is a great short story to read. Penguin do loads they're called Little Black Classics. Penguin have loads of these, and they're only £3, so also very budget friendly. Yeah, this is 112 pages. I mean, pick it up if it sounds like something you would enjoy. I didn't love it, but that doesn't mean that you won't, so there you go. The other pocket book I have is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, a classic. I bought this in Spain because I was traveling. I needed something to read, and it's very, very slim, obviously, and it's pocket size, so it could fit in my little under the seat Ryanair bag, because you actually can't take any luggage on those flights. This is 99 pages about an old man, a young boy, and the sea. And it's set off the coast of Havana. It doesn't spoil me saying this because it's on the back of the book, but he goes out on a fishing trip and catches this giant fish, and honestly half of the book is him trying to get this fish in his boat. A little bit repetitive. It definitely could be shorter, even though it still is incredibly short, but I do think it's worth the read. It's a classic and it won't take you very much time, so you should read this. Devotion by Patti Smith. This is non-fiction, and it's part of the Why I Write series from Yale Uni. This is her kind of, I don't want to say meditation, but her thought process on creativity, writing, the way that she thinks and the way that she creates music and art and writing. I loved this. I have read Just Kids. M Train is on my list to read. If you've read anything by Patti Smith or you like her as a person, you will enjoy this. I liked it. It was 100 pages, but then there's 10 pages at the back with pictures and various writings and stuff in. So definitely a short one that you can get through in a day. I enjoyed this. I would recommend. The next 5 I have are all short stories, but they're more like novelty. I would call these probably novellas, whereas these 3, I don't know, they feel very short, and one of them's non-fiction. So the first one is William Maxwell's So Long, See You Tomorrow. I have this beautiful vintage copy. I got this on World of Books, I think. I have no idea when it's from, but it's so old. This is set in rural Illinois. It follows, all of these I read quite a while ago. I think it's 2 boys from teenage to adulthood, and I believe they have some sort of falling out. Yeah, there's a suicide and a murder, and it's basically all the things they didn't say, I believe. I remember enjoying this. I don't remember it that much, so it can't have been that impactful. 135 pages this is. I did enjoy it at the time. I remember liking it, but it's so long since I read it, I can't recall exactly what the plot line is, but I did enjoy it. So definitely pick this one up. And I love covers like that picture. Beautiful. This is the one that I have half finished. This is Mrs. Caliban by Rachel Ingalls. I am literally exactly halfway through this. Page 55 out of 110. The only reason I didn't finish this is because I was reading it just before I went away and I didn't take it with me. but I need to finish it because I loved the start of it. This is a weird little story. This follows a California housewife who is not a happy housewife, and she's just in the kitchen one day, and this lizard, green scaly creature that's like a human lizard appears. It's so weird. She doesn't know what to do, and you as a reader's like, what the hell is going on? This is a weird little story. Like, I've got 50 pages left to read, and I definitely do want to finish it because what a strange story. It's so short, you can definitely read it. And sometimes I think weird stories are best when they're short because you want to finish it. You're like, what is happening? Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy the end of this, even though I've not finished it yet. But yes, I would recommend reading this one. If you can recommend a book halfway through reading it, then it has to be good. Morning and Evening by John Fosse. This is 100 pages long. Amazing. Pick it up, read it in one go. If you can't sit down and read this, then don't bother. You have to read it all in one go. I promise. If you put this down, you will lose the thread of it. You have to read this in one go, in my opinion. Oh, it matches me. Follows a man from birth to death. I don't want to say much more than that because I initially thought that this was going in a very different direction. So it's very much open to your, it's not interpretation because it does come to a close, but for most of the book, you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. So I don't want to spoil it. You just have to read it and find out, unfortunately. A recent read for me that was a nice short story was Jail Cars, A Month in the Country. This is like 100 pages, 104. For such a short story, I underlined so much. I annotated so much. I've made less notes on 600-page books than I did on this one. I loved this. This is a story about Tom Birkin, who is a First World War veteran. He has PTSD and he spends the summer following the war restoring a painting in a small Yorkshire village. Restoring the painting in a church in a village. Amazing writing, amazing storytelling. I loved this and I would highly recommend picking it up. Last but not least is Herman Hesse's Siddhartha. Siddhartha, I'm not actually sure what the correct can I talk? I love English. Correct pronunciation is. Jesus. So this is a spiritual book. This kind of inspired by the story of the Buddha. It's a guy who sets out on a spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, and he comes across temptation and pleasure, and he basically is ruminating on the meaning of existing. If that sounds up your street, you will like this. I loved this book. This was 121 pages, so maybe not a one-sittinger, but you could probably read it in a day with some breaks. Yeah, loved this. Highly recommend. Those are all the short books that I have to tell you about. I've definitely read more, but these ones are the ones that I think are pretty solid recommendation. Sometimes I think that authors who write short stories have a better knack for storytelling because they have to flesh out the characters and write a full satisfying story in a very limited number of pages. When you've got 1,000 pages, it's easy to build a world and build characters and have conflict and resolution. When you have 90 pages, that's much harder to do well. I just love short books. I really went through a short book phase this year. So yeah, that's all my short book recommendations. If you have any short book recommendations in the comments, please leave them. Like I said at the beginning, please tell me any short story collections that you particularly love or enjoy. I would like to try them. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.